Welcome, I'm Virgil Franklin, Audio Recording Department Chair at Vincennes University. Today we'll be looking at how to set up basic workflow for audio mixing in the studio. It's important to have a system in place when you're mixing so you consistently and efficiently achieve the results you want. Solid organization at the start can save you hours in the studio. So here we are discussing basic workflow in the audio recording realm. Normally when you get a piece of audio in to work with, you've got not necessarily tracks in the order that you want them to be in. And this is just setting yourself up for a workflow that's going to be standard to every time that you pull open a piece of audio. Now in this case, I'm looking to the left, I see guitars, I've got a bass, I've got some strings, looks like a synthesizer, and I've got my drums where I don't want them. So I want my drums all the way to the left. It's just a workflow kind of thing. So you develop your own, this is mine. Shift clicking on the nameplates, we're gonna grab and drag those over and drop them where we want them. Now, going forward in the workflow that I normally just get established immediately with this piece of software and Pro Tools, I'm going to change colors. Red's a little bit much for me for drums, so I'm going to double click on the bottom of the track again with all the nameplates still selected. I'm going to drop that back to something just a little more what I would pick. So the next step I want to do is because I'm thinking long game here, I want to know what I've got to work with, getting the mix done. I want to submix all these tracks down into a single AUX. That way I can solo out the drums and listen to just the drums if I want to. And it just makes things move a lot quicker in the workflow and during the mixing process. So I'm going to go Alt-Shift, and I'm going to click on the output of one of those tracks. Click on that. I'm going to select New Track. Once I select New Track, it's going to pop up in the screen. We're doing this in 5.1, so that's already selected. It's defaulted to that. I'm going to put down as the title, drum mix, right? So once I do that, I create it. It's going to pop into the first track that I selected, and notice it's green. Well, okay. We can double click at the bottom of that track, just like we did before, and look what Pro Tools did. It selected the color of the other surrounding tracks. Now, again, moving forward into the workflow, again, I'm going to try to get this set up so that I can solo out the drums. In order to do that, I have to do something called soft soloing. So in Pro Tools, you click the Command key and hold it down. All the surrounding tracks that feed into the AUX, I'm going to click the solo button on each one of these. Now the end product, if this works correctly, should be us muting out everything but the drums. See what happened? So, last thing as I'm going into this. I don't like my drum mix bus sitting there in the middle of the drums. I want everything that's what I would call macro mixing, that is dealing with the overall volume of just that instrument or that instrument group. I want all that to the right because I'm, again, mixing towards the end. I'm mixing towards my master fader. So I'm going to click and drag my drum mix all the way to the end, and boom, there it is, okay? So now, when I hear my playback, it's going to come in with there's some guitars coming in. Okay. Now, the drums will come in here in just a second.
I am the new mattress.
Here's the drums coming in.
I pass
Well, if I want to
through
solo out those
time.
drums, I'll hit solo, and there's my drums. Okay. Now, one thing I want to talk about real quick is the fact that as you're mixing, remember you're mixing from left to right in this workflow. So we're going to gain stage that direction. We've got this fader for the master fader set, basically unity gain. So we want everything that is to the left of the master fader to be below unity gain. And the reason we do that is, number one, it allows us for gain staging using compressors and things as we're mixing and mastering, and that's, again, long game in this mix paradigm. And the other thing it does is it immediately gives us cleaner signal going into the master fader through the mix buses. So that should get us started. You want to repeat that process with every instrument group that you have going towards the end of the mix and getting your workflow established. To summarize, taking the time to set up a workflow and then following it through the mixing process will pay off with a higher quality recording and more efficient use of your time. To learn more, look for our other videos on audio engineering.